Hey everybody, this is Dave Blair for the Sim Pit crew, and I want to talk about Dirt Rally 2.0. Please don't judge me on the footage that I'm showing because normally I race this game in VR, which is the reason why I bought the game. But in order to get this footage, I had to play it on a 24-inch monitor. So I felt like I was sitting in the back seat when I was driving this compared to VR, which is really good and is the reason why I'm making this video. So this is kind of a tips and tricks video, I guess. Just some of the things that I've learned. I'm not a huge rally fan by any means, and hardly ever play rally games. What happened with this title, though, is I have an Xbox One X, and I got this title for free through the Game Pass that I have on the Xbox, and I played it, and I really enjoyed it. And I played it on my 4K 43-inch TV and thought it was really good, but what I really wanted to do was play it in VR. So the guys that know me, mainly the SimPit crew guys, know that, well, one of my favorite things to do is to play online against real people in multiplayer racing. And so rally games never really appealed to me because it feels like you're all by yourself and you're just driving from point A to point B as fast as you can without damaging your car along the way. And so that's not really my idea of racing. But again, I tried this title out for free. I really enjoyed it, but I really like playing in VR. I have a Samsung Odyssey VR headset, which is pretty good in my opinion. So far, I think the best title is iRacing for VR, but this title is pretty good in VR, so I was really impressed with it. I bought it on Steam at the 2019 Halloween sale, and mainly for the VR, because I had to buy it on PC in order to get it in VR. Anyway, so again, getting back to some of the tips and tricks that I've learned. Basically, the whole idea is to race from point A to point B as fast as you can without damaging your car. And the race is broken into stages, and at the end of certain stages you have the option to repair your car. Now, when I first started playing this, I had all the extra stuff on. So let's go into my settings here real quick. Okay, before we look at assists, let's talk about my equipment. So I have a Thrustmaster TMX with the leather wrapped steering wheel, and this game will not let me assign this to be my e-brake, which is what I normally put this button as my e-brake, which means I had to use the second button in as my e-brake, which really throws me off. The other thing is I don't have a shifter because this is what I'm using. This is my sim rig. So I have a Playseat Challenge, and there is nowhere to mount a shifter. So I'm left with the flappy paddles here. But this game definitely you should have a shifter and a handbrake to play this game and get the most out of it. Okay, so now that we know what I have, let's go through the settings here. So I would love to play this with an H pattern with clutch, but I don't have an H pattern shifter, so I'm left with the flappy paddles, and that creates a problem when you're trying to shift and or hit the e-brake button and make a corner at the same time. It's really challenging. I can't tell you how difficult it is. I wish I had a handbrake and a shifter, but I don't, and I will be getting a new sim rig soon so I can get that stuff and get it mounted. But again, you want to go for as much immersion as possible, in my opinion. So, if you're just out here trying to set leaderboard times and things like that, then none of this is going to apply to you. You'd probably be better off racing in the chase cam if you're trying to set world records. But I play the game for immersion. And again, I didn't really know anything about rally racing coming in. That's why I want to say what my settings are and what I think that you should be using for total immersion. So I turned the auto repairs off. I had that on to begin with, and this makes you think about what basically how much you're damaging your car and what you want to repair at the end of certain stages. Now, I have the clutch override on because I'm using the flappy paddles. We already covered that shifter problem. All this other stuff is off. I have the automatic wipers on because of the button placement. Now, if I had a handbrake and everything, and I could assign the wiper buttons, I would do that. But since my buttons are a problem as is, I left this with on. I also left the launch control on, but other than that, everything is off. And again, if I had a clutch and shifter, I would turn this off. So you basically I want to turn off everything that I possibly can. The other thing too is I specifically bought this game for VR, so I don't want any camera shake. And in my opinion, this game has really good VR. I really enjoy it. I'm a whole lot faster in VR than I am racing on a single screen. I might turn this co-driver end stage audio off because it gets repetitive and annoying. But if you're just starting out, you might want to leave it on because he'll tell you may want to check your tires or something at the end of the stage. So it's just a good reminder. I have the wheel on because I'm racing in VR and it matches up nicely. Really like that. If I was racing on a single screen, I would turn the wheel off because I don't like a wheel in front of the wheel I already have. Okay. That's all I wanted to cover there. Now your on-screen display. I would recommend for total immersion turning off everything that you can. The only thing I have on is the online driver tags and the rearview mirror. But I would recommend turning all this. And when I started, I had the directionals at the top, and again, I didn't know. Matter of fact, my preference was I would rather see the turns coming up, like they'd show a 6 with a slight bend or a 1 with a really sharp bend. And I turned my co-driver off because he was annoying and I didn't want to listen to him. I just wanted it visual. And the other thing that I had on was my progress bar and all this other stuff. And it's just, it's taking you away from reality. So I think it was after I watched Billy Strange, his video on Dirt Rally, and it started making sense. And what I want out of this is a true rally experience. And to get that, you need to turn all this other stuff off. Like there is no progress bar in real life. And the other thing too is there's no floating, angles of what corners are coming up. So you have to listen to your co-driver. And again, the main focus should be from just trying to drive as fast as you can from point A to point B without damaging your car. And then at the end of the stage, you address what needs to be addressed. All right, so if we go to the input here, I will show you my settings here. These numbers aren't going to make much sense to you, but I would love for this button to be a different, I think it's number 3, but I can't take the, no, it's not 3. I don't remember what button it is, but it's a conflict with one of these down here, but it won't let me change these because I would love to unbind these. I think it's this one here is what I want my handbrake to be, but it won't let me unbind it. Anyway, this probably isn't going to make much sense to anybody, but yeah, I'm having a real problem with the buttons. But again, if I had a shifter and a handbrake, that wouldn't be a problem. And that is on my to-do list. All right, advanced settings. If anybody's interested, I pretty much just left this stock. I did do a calibration on my wheel. And then this one's kind of important. The force feedback. I turned a lot of this stuff way down because you want to be able to steer your car with one hand. And you're going to be whipping that steering wheel around left and right, especially on some of the tight stages. So you need to be able to turn your force feedback down until you're able to whip that around with one hand. That's a little tip or trick that I learned, because you don't want to be fighting the force feedback when you're in the tight sections. Okay, graphics is self-explanatory. Okay, audio. I turn the music down because I find it annoying. And then the other thing is, it's sometimes hard to hear your co-driver over your engine, but I turn that down a little bit more. And that's basically the settings I always run with headphones. But this is pretty much the settings that I have. You want to be able to hear your co-driver, and then I turn down all the other stuff. Okay, so I just finished this stage. I believe it was my second stage. And this isn't my career. I'm actually playing through the career, but I just pulled this up just for demonstration purposes. So I think this is the historic rally. And yeah, so I just pulled this up just so I could make a video with this stuff. Okay, so I'm at the end of the second stage. This is the part where you want your auto repairs off so that you can see how long each of the repairs takes you. So we're at the end of the second stage. We're going to repair our vehicle. And this is where you're going to go down and you're going to find out, okay, well, if I do the standard fix, it's going to take me 1 minute and 22 seconds. Quick fix of 45 seconds. So we'll do the standard repair here. And we're going to replace the lights. Okay, and so basically that's going to take me 3 minutes and 52 seconds to do these repairs, and I have 26 minutes left over, so no penalty. Now, if you really damage your car, you're going to end up taking too much time, and you may have to get a penalty to fix your car. So just be aware of that. You want to preserve your car. Okay, our car's fixed, ready for the next stage. The other thing you want to do is, and I wasn't doing this either, but you want to go and check your tires. So basically what I have on there is a used set of tires. They're recommending me put on a new set. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to change my tires. So I got fresh tires for this next 2 stages. Then if I look at my spare tire, I usually go without one. So far, I haven't blown a tire yet, so I don't know why I want to carry the extra weight. I think as long as you're running with the right tire compound, you have less chance of blowing a tire. But yeah, so that's what I do. I don't even carry a spare tire with me. Saves me weight. And then I just change my tires when they tell me to at the end of each stage. Then the other thing is on the tuned vehicle, I usually go in here and I change my final drive, and I take it up quite a bit because I find it's I run out of gear at the top end on some of the long stretch. So, and also when it's too low, I get a lot of wheel spin in first gear. So yeah, I usually take the final drive up and then see if I'm maxing out 4th gear. But yeah, so that's pretty much the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. I think this is a great game. I'm really enjoying playing it in VR. Yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to cover with this title. So thanks for watching.